Hello everybody, this is July 24, 2025. I'm Osher and I'm going to spend with you some minutes to discuss the new moon of Leo that we are having right now. Very significant time. Every phase is significant in our life, but yes, we just started the second half of 2025. That the first part wasn't easy at all, but gave us a taste for the future. And the next part is different. I'm going to discuss about it, but before I'm even considering, maybe I just will share with you the original background and not the beautiful other place that I gave you a moment ago. Beautiful weather, tied down right now. And this is exactly as I'm recording this video, the new moon in Leo. That is not just a new moon in Leo, it's opposing exactly Pluto in Aquarius, and this is in the first degrees of the sign, and it's triggering the connection with both Saturn and Neptune, that for the first time in our life we are experiencing them in Aries, when Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars just for the last week was exactly on the south node, what I offered to be a black swan, but if not in something drastic in the news, because the previous one that we had Mars on the south node, it was the October 2023 when Israel got attacked by the terrorist Hamas and the war started in the Middle East, and a lot of suffering still is going on. But this is also started in each person on this planet, something that was related to the great divorce and the great collapse, false agreements, exposure of false marriage, of false friendship, of false love, and any ties that we adored or believed that will be the best option. Out of this, we also saw in last July with two full moon in Capricorn, the political arena that brought almost assassination of Trump, and Kamala almost entered the field and disappeared, and so much changes in the entire management of the world. It's included with Jupiter's that squared both Saturn and Neptune in Aries, the war on Iran. And here we are now putting a seed of the new moon of Leo. Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun is in home. When we are asking someone, what's your sign? It's meaning, where is your sun located? So each one is the moment of full self-expression. But this is so much conspiracies or love and light significant when we are speaking about Leo. But Leo is never starting with just joy. It's not Gemini season. And it's not the protection and the playing safe emotionally of Cancer. Leo is facing you with the truth, with a storm of the sun, with a big fire. And this is not surprise. That is all aligned with other sort of philosophies that were here for many years. The Jewish tradition is seeing the beginning. What we are studying now, it's the month of Av. It's also known by some Arabic cultures that are considering the lunar calendar. So today, with the new moon of Leo, we are starting the month of Av. It's very mystical, an interesting gematria and occultism explanation what Av means. First of all, Av in Hebrew means father, and we know that the sun is the father because the moon, the opposite of it, she's the mother archetype. And Av is also what carries inside the word ahava. Ahava in Hebrew means love. Love, ahava, you could find the correlation inside it, because the Leo, Av, is ruling the heart. The heart is Laba, Ahava, Av, yes? But before you get to the heart, you need to pass the firewalls. And this is what those 2 weeks until the full moon in the middle of Leo, that will be the full moon of Aquarius, we will be able to celebrate love and our full truth after Mercury retrograde, because Mercury is also right now retrograde in Leo. We will need to face the harsh truth where we are not responsible, the words, the promises, the debt, the promises even before coming to this life that needs to be released or committed or charged. So this is how it's aligned through different phases of our life to do this self-accounting, where you are aligned and integrating your words, your intention with the rest of your words. Now look, the second half of 2025 isn't going to be easier than the first part. Well, some people, some of us, experience a huge expansion and miraculous experience from January to now. The first part, a lot of expansion, not just to speak about Bitcoin rally and other market rally. The Trump changing so much lawsuits and all this chaos that brought, of course, so many planets moved to new signs. Uranus now is in Gemini, Saturn and Neptune are in Aries. But now we are going to face what the residues that we cannot take with us to the next. Saturn going back to Pisces, Neptune going back home to Pisces. And also in the end of the year, Uranus will move back to Taurus. This is a new moon that can surface a lot of rage, a lot of anger, a lot of things from the past. Remember that also Uranus now in Gemini is near Sedna, that was buried in Taurus for 60 years, since the 60s. And all the false values about, post slaveries, or how we actually evaluated bodies and truth of disconnecting from earth, even by the nutrition, is all now going to be triggered and disrupt. Not surprised that suddenly Coca-Cola and Pepsi are changing the ingredient, even that is still evil. You cannot drink those things. When people have disrupt gut, they have disrupt brain, and everybody are serving a disrupted, a devil system. You cannot complain on system when you are still consuming the system. However, we are going to face a lot of our inner shadows. This is the fronting of Pluto, but this is a seed of Leo. It's like what you really need to seed here with new intention, with coming back truly with your heart, what is true to you, just true, to be able to thrive from February, the opposite, in the full moon of Leo, from now in 2026, when again all planets will enter to the new realm of the new era that no one can stop it. It's all going digital, and it's not just because of Schwab in 2020 told you you will owe nothing and be happy. I was telling you that this is also written in astrology. He just tries speaking in his own words things that anyhow should happen. And many that are resisting those changes are actually clinging behind and falling behind. And anyhow, we are going to be splitted to two-tier societies. See what I'm writing in Telegram. If you are not, Osher Eco, find us. I'm always sharing the signals of what I'm seeing and what I'm speaking. This is a game of being sovereign for countries and for individuals. This is going to be a more split between human consciousness. This is Uranus in Gemini. Huge separation. Those that are on the air and those that are in the working camps, in the low consciousness, that are dependent and haven't done the work. For years I was guiding everybody. Learn to fly by the metaphorical level of it. Using the online revolution to liberate yourself from all those possessive habits and fears, protection, real estate, and stuff that clinged you to the old devil structure. Big thing of it, I cannot speak finance or speak about sovereignty without giving from time to time. I'm not a naturopath and I'm not here to replace now a medical advice, but I'm having a lot of knowledge in those regards as well. And you cannot expect yourself to be wealthy and fat. This era of the fat, lazy, rich man with beers and pizza and all the luxury table of food is over. It's not this reality. You need to fly. You don't need to see a fat eagle or condor or whatever other bird. You learn to enter all your wealth into a USB and your brain. You know, the connection between brain and gut is so perfect that it's Virgo. When you have a lot of shit, you will have a lot of shit. If you are clean, this is the great purge. Drink water, not Coca-Cola, not orange juice in the morning, not orange juice with lunch, or many other habits that you should educate yourself. I will not bring you this. But if your gut is bad, you are not able to fly. You are not able to participate in the new world consciousness. So this is Leo, new moon. It's the seed, intention for how we are going with our full truth. And we are all will need to face the Pluto, the death. We are going to face a lot of, it's pain, it's painful. You know, I'm just sometimes imagining with my elderly parents and with all what I'm experiencing in the last year with family relationship. And, you know, just thinking about the topic of death is scary, yeah? But this is part of life. But it's not just about death, someone will abandon. This is fronting Pluto. It's like the greatest fear and secrets that is behind the veil that you were avoided by generation, by psyche level, to front or know what is real truth. The truth will shock. Now, I become very fascinated also to work, to those that are familiar or not, but in the Jewish tradition, every week you are reading in the Torah the parasha, which is the chapter, part, a piece of the Old Testament that was telling, you know, they are just reading a chapter. And this chapter is a prophecy. If you will align what each week chapter is speaking about, you could also use ChatGPT to learn it, because you don't need now to read Hebrew or anything. You just what's this parasha is telling about. You will be amazed how connection, even your date of birth, it's telling a lot of what happened in the desert or in the process between Moses, God, blah, 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 to what is in your life. It's fascinating. And this week and next week is so aligned also with the hard destiny rules that are falling on us as a collective and as individuals. This is facing with very heavy truth that sometimes a child or a teenage or a person, adult, avoid hearing, and then the facts of life are putting on him, you know. If I'm taking the example of nutrition, you're saying, it's okay, I can smoke, I can drink, it's okay, until the fact of your age and of your not responsible behavior showing you with disease or with falling down and needing to take care, or someone that has a very bad habits with finances and suddenly needs to face the consequences, and not just of now but of others. So this is a new moon that is realignment and recalibration with your own truth, with your heart. If you are recalling, I had a lot of vivid dreams in the last months that is unbelievable. And as you know, as a nomad being, I'm often changing beds every weeks or months. So it's also changing and impacting the quality of sleep, even that I pretty much taking care of sleep good hours before midnight, of course. When I left Israel in the end of last year, after a very bad visit, very strong confrontation, it was after the eclipses of September, it was like swords in my heart in so many levels, so much betrayal energy. And you could see part of the videos that how before, and science just showed me this before I even traveled. Flights were cancelled. It was the last 2 months of the war, with the main level of it, when rockets were falling all the time. Not to go, but I finally went. And I had a dream after this that generally I did a video about it, about how someone is taking the heart of another human being and teaching her child to drink it. It's like sort of cannibalism, but how sacrification of human beings. And the heart is exactly the archetype of Av, of Leo. It's all about the heart. And I saw girls learned to drink the heart of someone else that he was killed. Usually I saw like a slave or like a sort of inferior man in color. And they took the heart and they drink and they thrived. And like I saw the aura, I dedicated the whole. And this is so much of this happening in Earth. We are far from balance, from respect. People are not respecting their own body. People are not respecting their own nature. It's all based on abuse of taking from the poor and making them even more. And this is a huge sufferness happening on Earth, even that we would like to close our eyes and to focus on the good, on the little size that is still thriving. And yeah, it's impossible for one to change the world, but at least we start seeing the crime even inside of ourselves, or taking part of it in something, confessing it, and also in the behavior of our families that created on top of it a culture that's sort of validating the horrible behavior. And then we are surprised why we are not feeling love from those that should love us in the best way, or where we feel misunderstood in some situation where people continue to, I'm speaking for those that are doing the work, right? Or the so-called, what we are seeing now more in YouTube, the chosen one that people are speaking about. And it's so interesting, the chosen one, because even in the Jewish tradition, it's always about the chosen one, like the Israelites that decided to follow Moses, and also always complained and didn't want to listen to the truth of the divine. Yeah, maybe just Moses was an astrologer and just called what's the transits and what's need to go. Yeah, but it's also an interesting that if I'm just speaking about the archetype of the Israelites, is about not being stagnant in one place. It's about the nomadism in desert, and then settling, but then creating a home for God. But it wasn't always like this. But yeah, I will not go in this direction because it's very fascinating philosophy and description of what was happening, even if it's just a literal story. Yeah, all these settlements. This is a reason also why two temples around this time were destroyed. The Solomon temple and the first temple of Solomon and the second of Herod's were destroyed around these days. We also saw last year how dramatic it was with the assassination attempt. This is the weeks that are facing us with divine truth. And the main truth is what is true for you, how you are fully expressing yourself and not complying after this complaining to outer rules that someone dictated on you without you even being sovereign to decide, this is how I want to do this. Because you are dependent in money, you're dependent in health, you're dependent in love, you're dependent in so many things. So only when you learn being sovereign and to sustain the main theme that actually controlling society, your health, what you are entering to your mouth, your access, your choices, controlling your time, making things that will help you to be more in direct connection with God without intermediaries, without church, without synagogues. Astrology is helping you doing this as a navigation tool. So Mercury is retrograde now. It's still in Leo. It's going to retrograde back to Cancer and to face us with those emotions and doubts and scatter in our mind, preparing us for what should be changed and declared more with truth. As Saturn is going back to Pisces and Neptune too. The eclipses are coming in September, are going to drop. Oh my goodness, last September, October was very, very hard. At least for me. We also remember how it was in politics, how it was in markets. Virgo thing, Virgo Pisces theme. So now we cannot expect much market to go any further. Venus just finishing its strong position, and more aspects that I'm seeing that I was calculating months in advance. That's what I've said, that end of July is the peak in the energy. Now, the peak is never like and fell. It's the peak, but now let it doing some trading in the top before we will see a decline. And it may last almost most August, like trading water on the top of the levels we are now. Even that we may see a random quick spark probably of Bitcoin to the 160, or even I believe maybe it will finalize with 140. I was showing those levels and dynamic and areas months in advance without all those analysts that are telling, because Trump said this and because he confirmed this and because he passed the genius thing, blah, 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 it will be this. No, the themes are showing as the wave, how much power it has, and I calculate until this wave, until it can go, and then I see another transit, what will move it down, and until when. So some people will do it as cycles from the history, but the history is also based on nature. So as you know, the nature cycles of astrology, it's not astrology, just a superstition. It's the sun, it's the tide. The tide up and down is happening every 6 hours. So now it's the top, now it's starting the tide up. So the earth is, the nature is exact mathematical. As you can calculate the sunrise, the sunset, the winter solstice, the sun solstice, the tides, it's all worked with the same alignment. And all your role in this life, our role in this life, is to be present and aligned with those changes. What I'm speaking here is just a messenger. I'm not telling you that I know. I'm understanding, contemplating on the nature, what many people do not realize because they are in fluorescent in little room with a TV and don't know what's going on, just following news. Telling you how we are in the nature, what time to do what. All our role is to get aligned with your heart, with yourself, and your gut, heart, brain, and the cosmos. This is our role. And let the polarity and the interaction between us to happen naturally. What more beautiful than falling in love naturally, than performing and seducing someone, enjoying all those shows. We are energy. When you are passing and you are charged energetically and you are not just a zombie man that is masturbating 3 times a day and is completely empty energy, but when you are just going with charged, with alignment, and you are passing, this is something magical and love that is happening between people. Even that love is not the romantic Cinderella and they are living 400 years together. We are sparks that are meeting and connecting and opening gates through others. It's different mindset of even how we are experiencing love and attraction and alignment. We are not all designed to be a community members or living in huge tribes that each one on each other. Sometimes it's also movement in more spacious areas when you have less people with you. You don't need to be part of masses in huge concert with so many heads around you. The opposite, sometimes in order to align with your own thing, it's isolation needed. Than being connected to a Saturn internet connection in Starbucks. You need a pure node connection when you're getting the entire information without the traps or scams leading from your own connection or server, public server. Well, this is all what I had to share as a vibe message here. Happy new moon in Leo. You still can join Osher's live chart. This is a promotion going on until the Lion Gate of August 8. This is the peak of Sirius in sky, so it's also related to ability to see beyond the veil. And I wish all of us a good luck and alignment and open heart with not just being generous by behaving good, but being reliable to our own truth and well-being by the way we treat ourselves, by the way we treat others. And this is time. Nowhere to rush. We are anyhow on the same boat. Yeah. The portals are opening in the same time. So even if you are standing now when the plane already landed, where are you going? So stand, rush. Why you are rushing? When the door will open, we all will pass. It's all about being aligned and wait and smart and trade with the phases. You could not trade when the energy will not support you. This is the difference between a regular analyst or technical analyst to astrologer that doing trade or astrofinance follower. All the best. Until the next. Bye. Happy Leo season. Happy new moon in Leo. I wish all of us huge success. A lot of challenges until the end of the year. But all what we need is to be aligned with deep breath. No one could stop Saturn from going back to Pisces. Just be truthful and trust that you are on the right path. Be truthful.